challenge from a 12-year-old, though.
Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
Good evening. This is Wayne from the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. And guess what? I am joined by special guests tonight, all of whom are from Back Sports Page, the social media manager of Back Sports Page, Alyssa. We got TJ in the house, and Back Sports Page owner Randy Zelia here in the house to talk about WWE Summerslam. But first, how are you guys all doing? Welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you.
It's great. I'm doing well, man.
Pleasure, Thanks for having us.
Absolute pleasure.
I'm really excited to be here.
What?
And not only that, we can't. Wait, I'm sorry, but I can't ignore TJ's hat.
No, you can't.
I know.
It's
nothing you can ignore.
So good.
Yeah. Like a quick off-topic story was when we went to Saturday night's main event. I was sitting next to DJ, and he was wearing the hat.
Did you have room to sit?
Actually, he bought a second seat just for the hat. It was one of those
I had
things.
to.
Yeah. But
worth another $200.
Yeah, like when we were talking about it, he was talking about Fanatics here, about at Fanatics Fest, and all these people were signing the hat. I said, "Do I get to sign the hat?" And he said to me, "He's like, I have a special spot for you to sign the hat." And I'm like, you know how many cute girls he probably used that line on to sign the hat? You know, it's like. Yeah, he's like,
you're lucky. You were lucky that night to hear that line.
It's what they call an icebreaker.
Yes. But all credit to TJ. TJ's one of the best at what he does as far as making, getting fan involvement with content and developing fresh content and original content. He's probably one of the best in the business, and it was an absolute pleasure meeting him in person for the first time at WrestleMania 40. And we've been sort of like figuring out different ways to work with each other ever since. And it's been nothing but a pleasure.
Randy, it's been great working with you too, bud.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
that. You guys are cute.
Yeah. And then there's Alyssa, who is just awesome.
Oh, just sum it up real quick. She's just awesome.
Yeah, she's just awesome.
Alyssa.
And Wayne's the guy who's driving this bus, baby.
Yeah, Alyssa, correct me wrong, because we got to show you some love here, because I know what you've been doing for Back Sports Page, all the social media stuff behind the scenes. That is every bit of as important as being on screen. You're basically the one that hits the pedal to the metal, so to speak, to get the cog going. So, I mean, you're very, very, very important to the team for sure.
I gotta post all the things. This is weird. I'm usually not the one on camera. I'm usually the one behind posting all.
I feel like I've achieved something getting you on camera.
Yeah, this is the second time now, Randy, that I've actually been on.
Yeah.
Whoa!
This is the second time, and
time.
For Alyssa's credit too, Alyssa and her friend were talking about doing like a wrestling podcast, and I haven't pushed too hard for it because I know that her time sometimes is scarce, but it's one of those things where I really would like to just see what that would be like.
We're still talking about it. She and I are still talking to do the podcast in like a female perspective of the.
Whoa!
I think that would be pretty awesome.
Well, we're actually going away this weekend, so I might talk to her about it a little bit more and see if we can start it up and get it going.
Gotta put it top of the list now.
I do have one question, because I'm not used to being a guest on a show. I'm used to being the guy who's driving the bus. I'm not used to being the passenger on the bus. So, Wayne, I have to ask you, for doing these shows now for as long as you have, and the success you've been having with the numbers been rising for this show, and your audience has been pretty consistent. How much more pressure on it now is it for you to have to do 2 nights in a row as far as like WrestleMania and now SummerSlam? I'm pretty sure if they have the opportunity to, they'll probably take Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. Like Royal Rumble would be set up perfectly for them to do 2 nights because they have the 2 Rumble matches.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, like, how much pressure has it been for you to sort of produce these shows and sort of do those 2 nights in a row? When, especially like right now, like, not to try to get anyone to tune off of us, but like ESPN is doing their post game right now. You know what I mean? So, has there been any difficulty for you doing this?
No, not at all. I mean, you got ESPN running their post show. You got Fightful. There's no pressure whatsoever. It just goes with just kind of planning in advance and managing the time wisely. And like TJ alluded to before, is you know we obviously don't have time for everything, but there is always like a priority list, and
Of course.
whatever's at the top of priority never falls at the wayside. The priorities can change week to week or day to day, but no, not as much pressure. I mean, when it comes to SummerSlam, WrestleMania weekend, and like different times of the year, like it's game on. And we know that All In is coming up in a couple of weeks. It is game on. We'll be running 2 shows a week, not including pay-per-views. But no pressure. There's no pressure when you love and you see the results of what you're doing.
As long as you're not going to start doing post shows for WWE Main Event and LFG, we're good. You don't want to do post shows for those. You know what I mean? There's nothing.
What do you mean? We need more. We need LFG post shows.
You can go to WWE Radio now. And if you guys don't, sorry for a shameless plug, but if you want to know my opinion on SiriusXM and WWE new relationship, I have an article up on Backstage.
That is a cheap plug right there, sir. That is a cheap plug.
I am the Mick Foley of cheap plugs. Okay.
Plug away.
As am I, so it is what it is.
TJ, you read the article, so you know.
Oh, it's a great article.
Yeah,
I gotta read that article.
I'll send you guys the link. I will tell you that I very much gave. I'm down the line on how it's a good thing and it's a bad thing for the business. So, but
cheap
hey,
plugs,
listen,
what are you talking about?
SummerSlam. Let's do it, baby.
Let's just
Randy,
jump in, man.
I want to start
awesome.
with you because I know that your time is limited and you may or may not have to go. So we'll start with you. Your thoughts before we go match by match tonight. I just want to know your overall thoughts of night 2 and SummerSlam weekend in general.
It was definitely better than night 1. I definitely can say that. I'll tell you what's really been hurting my opinion of a lot of the PLEs on ESPN has been the commercials. And I feel like that it really hurts the time length because I feel like they're advertising more. And I feel like one of the things that we're missing from some of these shows now on WWE are those little wacky backstage segments that we would always used to get like at WrestleMania and at SummerSlam. Like I'm waiting for Ron Simmons to sort of pop up just to say, damn. And, it's not happening. And like, again, I feel like some of the length of the matches end up getting cut short. I will say, again, I know we're going to talk about some of the matches in a minute, but overall, I thought night 2 was better. But I have to give credit where credit is due. This is now the second major pay-per-view where Roman Reigns is delivered.
Yes. Totally agree on that.
Roman delivered 100% tonight.
Yeah. And not to discount his dance partners from either matches from WrestleMania or tonight. But Roman had a reputation of just doing very, very basic matches. But because he's such a good storyteller in the ring, his matches have always been solid and very, very, very good. But I think tonight sort of exceeded expectation because I think if you can't keep up with Seth Rollins, you shouldn't be in the ring. And Seth Rollins is a workhorse in the WWE. But the one question I have for you guys about these pay-per-views, and Triple H sort of mentioned it last night during the press conference, a comment was made out of context, by the way, but a comment was made by Damian Priest about having the same guys, the same 6 to 8 guys rotated around in the main event. Is this the final chapter right now on sort of having Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns sort of dominating the main event scenes? Because I feel like right now there is a rise, but it takes a while to build up a main event star. So I throw that question right back at you guys.
I think when it comes to the top guys in the industry. You look at the WWE right now. You think about Seth Rollins. You think about Roman. Hell, you even think about Cody. You think about CM Punk. Right there, just four names right off the bat. When it comes to wrestling nowadays, we have to start focusing on the future, and I think the future is going to be bright, and especially with now, for example, just in night one with the main event, talking about the past into the future, we look at Obafemi. Obafemi, I feel like, is that future star that will lead us to more promising matches for a lot of guys. Now, when it comes to the comments by other superstars in the back, I mean, look, you can say what you want to say, but then back it up with your work and your work ethic. You know what I mean? Right now, he's got multiple opportunities being a tag team champion and competing on AAA. I see it as there's multiple avenues of opportunity here for a lot of guys. So you can either take the ball and run with it, or you can dwindle down the card and then be given your future endeavors. So for a lot of guys, I think they should just pick up the work and try to find their way to get to that new avenue. There's so many different avenues in WWE that they could be looking at. But a lot of people are just focused on the two main things of Raw and SmackDown. You have AAA, you have NXT, you have Evolve, you have LFG now, which I'll say is a form of a, not to say like, okay, it's a weekly show that you're gonna like get weekly TV on. It's like, it's what, correct me if I'm wrong, it's pre-taped, it's all that stuff. It comes out every other season, correct me, every other month, correct me if I'm wrong. If you see a couple episodes here, a couple episodes there.
You're not off by it, but then then you look at some certain guys. You look at some certain guys. You look at Sami Zayn. You look at Kevin Owens. You look at some of those guys who, man, this is gonna be such a bad thing to say, and I'm sorry. Like, I think I have to sort of explain myself before I get there. You look at guys like the megastars in the business, okay? The Hogans, the Austins, the Rocks, the Cenas. You look at those tip-top guys. It's hard to replicate those guys. It's really, really hard to replicate those guys in those standings of having that outside appeal. But you're looking at those main event guys. You're looking, like we were saying, like Roman. I think has it. I think because Roman's been doing some movies.
He's there.
I think WWE wants Cody to be it, but I don't feel that. I don't feel Cody's outside presence. I think if you sort of like go outside the wrestling world and you say Roman Reigns, people are like, oh yeah, he's like that wrestler. But if you say Cody Rhodes, you're like 50-50. You might have somebody who knows who that is. You know what I mean? Like, so what like you look at the guys like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Finn Balor and some of these guys who were the workhorses of the original NXT. They're not. I don't feel like they're going to crack that ceiling. Like, some of the stuff that Sammy's doing right now is some of the best work I think he's done next to his stuff with the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, just for the record, I believe Sammy. I want justice for Sammy because he has a valid point for absolutely everything.
Get out of here, justice for Sammy.
Laughing at me the whole time I started. I'm like, Sammy's right. Sammy's right. He got screwed. But like, with all that being said, though, like, you're looking at that comment that Damian Priest said, and I see where Triple H is saying. It's like, okay, wait, well, make the fans want you. Okay, right now Danhausen is
give them
over.
the chance.
Yeah, Danhausen's over because he got over because of a catchphrase and all the silliness he does. But meanwhile, a guy like Carmelo Hayes, who's an unbelievable athlete, is an excellent hand in the ring, gets pulled from WrestleMania because they put Trick Williams and Sammy together, and like, he hasn't been able to fight through it. And it's like, you scratch your head because Carmelo Hayes is better than half the guys on the roster.
He is.
So
and he's a great mind too. I've talked to you about that.
Yeah, it's like it's such a tough, and it's also another reason why TJ was telling me about WWE Radio is like, it's an opportunity for these talents to have their voice and have it on there to possibly build some stability and some credibility on another platform.
Exactly.
You got to be happy for guys like Dave LaGreca. I mean, Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer, they've been in the big time, but guys like Dave LaGreca and other people for Busted Open Radio that many people don't know about, but they're finally getting their opportunity on such a big platform. on Sirius Satellite Radio, WWE Radio, and I get that like you can't really talk about other organizations other than maybe like TNA or your own AAA and NXT, but at the
Everything
same
owned by
time,
WWE.
like you gotta be happy with these guys. You gotta be happy for these guys first of all, and people are forgetting there are many good. Well, I wouldn't say many, but there are really good platforms too that cover everything that can kind of pick up the ball and give you the wrestling content that you want.
Like us.
I was gonna say like us.
Yes.
That's what you're missing here, Wayne. Like us.
Like TJ's gonna be joining us now on the cut on a consistent basis with me and Rohit Raju, former TNA national champion. So
wow,
TJ,
that's news to me now. So it's like,
yeah, he's gonna be joining us. He's gonna be joining. By the way, I spoke to Rohit.
Welcome, TJ.
Yeah. But like
We're happy to have you.
But it's like, Wayne, something that you said too. Like you said, there's other platforms and the WWE Radio. Like, I think overall, I think TJ knows. I texted Dave. Dave sent me some messages back.
Yeah.
And Dave was appreciative of what I had to say. He actually read the article that I put online as well, and he was just like, "This look." As soon as that news broke, everybody blamed Dave because Dave was the founder of the show, and one of the things I stated too in my piece was, if AEW and TNA were doing much better business, then this would be a much bigger argument not to do it. But those companies are not doing blockbuster business enough to warrant them to put up a fight for SiriusXM to say, no, we want to make sure we're still covering those other groups. It's not drawing enough attention for them to say, you know what, we're going to turn down this multi-million-dollar deal with WWE. It's reality. It's business. And it's funny. We've been on for 17 minutes now. Let's talk about SummerSlam.
I mean, we're here to talk about SummerSlam. What are we doing?
This is all TJ's fault. He gets so off track.
Oh, something wasn't my fault this time. It was TJ's fault this time.
Why is it my fault?
Yes.
Because you're wearing a big hat.
I'm just a guest on the show.
You're wearing
a noggin boss.
You're wearing a big hat. It's very distracting for all of us.
I'll do cheap plugs as well. Albin20, TJ20, nogginboss.com. Wayne, thanks for the platform for letting me get that out.
Listen, Alyssa said your big hat is very distracting. Okay, I just want to let you know.
Do you want me to take it off?
I got.
Nah, bro, that's your identity, man. Just like
I'll take it off. Hold on a second. I'll make sure. Hold on.
Listen,
all right, there we go. All right.
No, put it back on.
The only thing that would have made that better if it would have been like a Wisconsin cheesehead type of thing.
I love doing that with kids. I love doing that to kids. It's always.
And I know Wayne will thank me this. By the way, guys, if you are watching the show here at for the Aftermath, don't forget to go to ProWrestlingTees.com right now and get your Aftermath T-shirts. They have a cool little shop there on Pro Wrestling Tees. So help support Wayne in the Aftermath with at ProWrestlingTees.com. There you go, Wayne.
Appreciate that, Dave.
Cheap plugs. Cheap plugs.
SummerSlam is generally a pretty good show for the most part. A lot of people complaining about attendance, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole. People complaining about the attendance. Can I just be honest with that? Yeah.
Go ahead, TJ. This one's on you because you know where I'm going to go.
I put up a post from a friend of mine who sent me video, which I'm very thankful for all the people that sent me video while I couldn't make this trip. Look, you're looking at one side of the picture versus the other side of hundreds of thousands of fans that are experiencing and enjoying one thing, and that's pro wrestling. Yeah, okay, it is what it is on another side. But you got to remember, too, is that they're putting on the product in front of you and on the side of you. You know what I mean? It's like you have a giant arena. It is what it is. Can I swear on this podcast? Can I swear on this? Is that a thing here?
Are we allowed to use language on your podcast, Wayne?
I want to say something. All right.
Minimum.
Shit happens. You move on, and shit sticks out.
With intent.
What are you going to do about it? Shit happens, okay?
Sure.
Look, and I'm going to say it. Look, yeah, we've had, over the years, we've had the black tarp. Oh, no, what a shame. Oh, no, look at that empty arena.
This is not a new thing.
It's all TKO fault.
Yeah,
no, it's not. It's not. Look, they're doing the best they can to fill the arenas, and they are doing a phenomenal job of filling these arenas. They're giving you matches, phenomenal matches, like, Gable versus Penta, Roman versus Rollins. Last year, you had Cena and Cody Rhodes. There were still tarps up. Even when I went last year in New York, there's so many different opportunities and times that they've had them up. But who cares? You know, you're not here to like scalp. Like you're not paying hundreds of dollars to say, "Oh, look at that tarp. Oh, it's a damn shame." No, you're here to watch the center of the ring, that match, and if anything, the entrance and the pyro and the entertainment that you're being brought in front of you of pro wrestling.
Yep, that's what
you
it's
know,
about.
It's funny. It's funny you say that too, because TJ and I had this discussion about the ticket sales with SummerSlam and you know all the stuff that was going on, and I think TKO sort of got the hint now because I think at one point wasn't it like they barely were under, they were just under 20,000 tickets a couple weeks ago, and then they
something like that. Yeah, that's what was floating around.
Yeah, and then like they said, right now you were able to get into the building. Like I think a couple weeks ago, you just to get in the building would have been like $75 to $100. They sliced it down to like $25.
Yeah.
Which would have been the same thing if Vince was there. If Vince was, again, it's a whole other topic. We're not going there, but I'm saying in the Vince days, Vince always tried to keep everything fan friendly, so you can get to the arena and get to be in the stadium.
Yes, you can actually and experience everything.
Exactly.
You know, I think they said it was like 32 last night, or like 33. Both nights it was like 33,000 for each night.
For me, numbers don't matter. If I'm being quite honest, numbers don't matter.
The production did a pretty good job with shooting and making everything on screen. Like I would have never even known that 2/3 of the arena was full. I would never even known. Like WWE production put on a good show.
Because they don't show you
on TV and
right, exactly.
They're not going to give you that
unless there's 100% right. And like if you look at that one clip that's been going around of Randy Orton sneaking in the ring and RKO and Cody, you see all the tarps on the hard cam side. They pretty much didn't put anybody in on the hard cam side. And like I know we're doing WWE SummerSlam, and now is not the time to bring up AEW. When AEW goes to Wembley Stadium in a couple of weeks, a couple of years ago they filled 80,000 people at Wembley. A couple of years ago, the second time they went, they only filled about 45,000. I don't know if they're going to hit 40 this time. I know they already have 35,000 out. But that's a big closeout of the arena, of the stadium. You know,
that's a whole nother discussion. I could talk about that. I mean,
like when I heard that number, when I heard that they were going to go back there, I'm like, that's a real big mistake. But
exactly.
But the simple fact of the matter, WWE, like again, WWE's been doing this a long time, and yes, Kerwin Sophie's and who's the other one? The other longtime producer was Kerwin Sophie's, and the other longtime producer that was there with Vince and Triple H.
Dunn.
Kevin Dunn. Thank you. Kevin Dunn. Those guys all have been doing this for so long. They know how to shoot it to make it look like it was a full arena. They used to make, when WWE used to do Raw from high school gyms, they made it look like it was a filled building. So, you know, I'm never worried about, you want to make sure the crowd is good enough and live enough so you're able to feel that excitement from the crowd. That's what I thought was missing from WrestleMania the last 2 years, is the crowd didn't feel like
the crowd interaction.
I felt it during the Punk and Roman match this year, but over the last last year and this year for majority of the stuff for WrestleMania, I didn't feel it.
Which is weird because the stadium was loud at WrestleMania.
My team,
people were into it.
I think they were definitely into Roman and Punk, and also
for sure.
And Wayne, if we can transition, I start going into the card a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
If you guys don't mind starting with the main event, because of how
I want to start off hot with the main event.
Yeah, let's start
for sure.
So good.
Yeah.
I was the idiot who kept on predicting that the Bloodline was going to get involved and maybe Solo was going to come out and turn on Seth to join back on it.
No.
But then they said
I was waiting for that too.
But they said early in the match that Roman said he didn't want the Bloodline there. And I think this is one of those situations where you didn't need to have the dusty finish where you had all this interference and something crazy. Let the two guys just go. And I think now you have to have these two guys away from each other for a while now. I think
that's what you're going to see. I think that's what you're going to see between the two. You're going to see Roman start helping build up Raw. Rollins might take a quick break, possibly, depending on how he's dealing with like post following the main event. depending on where they want to go with storyline for him. But I will say, I think this is the last encounter we're going to see between them two.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I mean, you don't need the bloodline to get involved with this. The idea and the identity of this new form of Roman Reigns is I want to do things on my own and I want to earn things on my own. And that's what he did. And the story that they were able to tell was just absolutely amazing. A lot of callbacks into that match, a lot of stuff that they brought up in between with the Shield, and a lot of stuff that they were able to kind of throw out the wall and see if it would stick. And a lot of stuff did, and the fan was grabbing at every single thing in that match up until the final point, until the final dagger of that spear. That final spear, that final nail in the coffin, that third spear, significance of the third spear, because you got to think about the three members of the Shield. That's how I look at it. There's a lot of significance in that match for what they did and how they did it and what they did it for.
Yeah, now their story's over.
Exactly.
The match was so good that you didn't need all the brouhaha.
No, you didn't. Their story was that good.
And I love the fist pound at the end, the Shield fist thing at the end. It was the final sign of respect and everything else like that. One of the other things too is like now we talk about the future where they each go. I don't know where Roman goes. Maybe he'll go with LA Knight, and they'll elevate LA Knight to the next level because he's still over with the fans. I think that they need to sort of shake up the rosters and maybe put Seth. But I think they want to try and keep Seth away from Punk now too. I think they still want to. And maybe you guys are right. Maybe Seth goes away for a little while because he's done with the Vision. He's done with all that other things. And I also think with Roman's openly admitted he's got maybe 2 or 3 years left.
So take advantage. Take advantage of what you get from him.
And not really. Rollins only doesn't have that much time left either. So they really need to start kicking it into gear to building these stars. I know one guy who I know all you guys I've read here and there have clamored about, and I met him 2 years ago at Mania when he was down in NXT, was Trick Williams.
He's a good guy.
He's an excellent guy, and I enjoy talking with him.
Phenomenal.
TJ remembers when we had media day, like Trick stayed there until every person who wanted to talk to him, was done.
Stayed a while. Yeah, he stayed a while.
And one of the things that I've learned with Trick is he's still very inexperienced in the business, and he still needs. I still think that Trick is only as good as his dancing partner. And I did not like the match with Corbin tonight.
You didn't like it?
I did not like it at all, and
Really?
I'll tell you why. There was a couple different times, and not only is my barometer, because sometimes I'll watch something and I'll be like, I'm not sure if I like this or not, but I look at still the innocence of my 12-year-old stepson who watches wrestling with me. And if he's getting excited about it, I know it's really, really good. If he's like looking at it, going to start looking on his phone and start keeping himself busy doing something else, then I know he's not into it. And that was one of those matches where he's like, I think I'm going to go upstairs and call my friends for a few minutes. I'm like, okay. I said, I know what this match is about.
So it's
yeah. And there's, again, Corbin is what he is. But Trick, Corbin had to carry Trick, and when Corbin's having to carry guys, it's not a good thing. That's a very unpopular statement I just made. I can tell.
It's not that I don't not agree with you. Like I sort of agree with what you're saying because Corbin did carry him a lot through that match, but also Corbin is a lot more experienced than Trick is anyway. So he should have probably put him over a little bit more. But again, like Trick is very inexperienced still. So he is only as good as his partner. But if his partner is a lot better than him, it's hard to keep up with that if you're not at that level yet.
But
Shandy, Mike, I gotta throw in something really quick before we finish up Roman Seth. But Michael Cole's call of Deep Six reminded me of our grassroots of this podcast, Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast. Like when hearing Michael Cole yell out Deep Six for the wrestling move, and I love that finishing move, by the way. That just reminded me of like our grassroots of this podcast. But carry on.
And also too, and I know we were talking about Roman, and I'm going to just intertwine it back in, but we're talking about challengers for the main event. I don't think a guy like Trick Williams, who's starting to get a little bit of a groundswell of fan base, I don't know if he's ready to be in a situation where I'm sitting there saying he's going to headline a pay-per-view. And I feel like they took the U.S. title off of him to help elevate him, but I don't feel that he's ready for that. And it's easy for me to say, hey, he's not ready for
Well, they planted seeds. They planted seeds there. I don't know if you guys had noticed and realized on SmackDown when CM Punk and Trick Williams came face to face there.
Yep. And
So it seems like there might be a plan later on.
I can see it. But here's the thing you got to remember with Trick, and you have to remember with Corbin. Corbin is just getting back. So why would you want to bring him back for a first match on the big stage and have him lose? Think about that. Kind of how bad would that look at that point?
Yep, but that's why I predicted Baron to win.
Anybody else in that story. Then they could have put anybody else in that story, and they could have had him lose and have a job match. But with Corbin, here's the thing that you can do. You can build the story from a big loss to a bigger outcome. Because I feel like Trick as the challenger and Trick as the one that's chasing for the title is a lot better than Trick with the title. I think we're going to see a lot more out of him. And then looking at someone like Corbin, who goes on SiriusXM, who is an older veteran in the business, is going to take advantage of this and run with it as much as he can while he can in the short time he has.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to think of the veteran versus the student here. The student is still Trick. Trick is still
I can't believe we're talking about Baron Corbin as like a longtime veteran now. Like, he came in here to NXT on TV right around 2015. 11 years already. Unbelievable.
Well, here's the thing, though, too, with that, and to work off of what TJ is saying, too, as far as Baron Corbin is concerned. You know, you're not going to put him in there and have him lose his first major match back, but I still think that he should probably not have been in there to start. Again, I keep going back to Carmelo Hayes, and I'm going back to some of these other guys who again, here's what the Carmelo Hayes situation. I put him in the same category as Bayley from WrestleMania the previous year, where she was right there, and then they sort of yanked, they pulled her out and just said, "Thanks for being a good soldier." TJ knows because he had talking to Carmelo Hayes at one point, and things have been very, very inconsistent with him. And I just don't understand what the thinking is. But there's going to be guys who are going to get pushed over Carmelo, and obviously Corbin. If you have to offset, I guess you have to offset the championship. And
Randy, I want to interrupt you.
Before you interrupt me,
Let me.
Because if you think about it, CM Punk is a babyface champion on SmackDown. You want to offset your championships. So you want to have, if your top champion is a babyface, you want to make sure that your secondary champion is a heel. And so you want to make sure it can help balance out the card. Right now, Roman is sort of like a tweener because he's fighting the good guys and the bad guys.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not really.
Yep. And then Penta and Chad Gable are both faces. So you're sort of like in that little bit of a mix. I'm sorry, TJ, go ahead.
No, what I wanted to kind of talk about with Mello and kind of going off of like you with the Mello and Trick situation, and then I'll pass it back to Wayne to kind of put the show back on track a little bit if we can. But I want to kind of touch up on that, right? When two create magic, right, as Trick and Mello have done on NXT on takeovers, you don't want to waste it on just a random show, right? The reason I'm looking at it, right, in SummerSlam is not a random show at all, right?
Neither was WrestleMania.
Neither was WrestleMania, and I agree. But the story has to be there and has to be aligned for it. Would you rather have seen, like, look at it this way. If I can use two examples of, like, Rock and Stone Cold. Let's use those two as examples. Would you rather have seen them in Saskatchewan in a random 15,000 seat arena, or would you rather see them at the Astrodome with close to 50, 60,000 people behind them screaming their heads off watching a match? I'd rather watch that in a big stadium feel. And especially with Mello is great. Trick is also great. But for someone like Baron Corbin, who needs the spot right now just to build him back up, I think that's the move you got to make into it.
Oh, I'm definitely not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that whatsoever.
Jake?
I just feel like because it was such a great story on NXT, you could have gotten away with having it either WrestleMania or SummerSlam because you could
Let them build.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying there was just like Roman and Seth, where you were able to go back to it at any time. Carmelo and Trick with their history, just like Sammy and Kevin, you can always go back to it because there's always that backstory there.
Like the start of the show, like going right into the start of the show.
Yeah.
And how night 2 started, what it was supposed to be, the one-on-one match for the number 1 contendership. You had Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. Next thing you know, Nick Aldis comes out and says, hey, it's going to be a triple threat match. And you saw right there, right off the top, the respect between the two wrestlers, between Nick Aldis and Gunther, which I really enjoyed because they know at the end of the day, they're pro wrestlers and they put on a show. But I will say, I wish they had longer. I wish they had a lot longer, and I wish that Aldis had a little bit more like ring rust out of him before that match, but it is what it is. But going into that match, being a triple threat, and then moving to a fatal 4-way between
That surprised me. I didn't see
Kevin
that coming.
Owens.
Wild.
No, it's just
I didn't see
saw
that
the
coming at
reports
all.
and stuff like that. Like, oh, Kevin Owens is in the area. I'm like, okay, great. Kevin Owens is in the area. Yeah, he's posted videos.
I thought
That could be anything.
Exactly. But you know
Until
what's
Gunther-
funny is, oh, sorry.
Kevin.
But Kevin is just amazing, and like
Yeah, he
what
is.
I took down some notes just like from what I'm kind of seeing from what they're presenting to us, and that Kevin Owens' return, just the emotional standpoint from the crowd was absolutely amazing.
People crying,
and
People
that's what
were-
I'm saying.
Yes.
And just
Let me
just
ask
a
you,
few
were you
minutes ago.
crying?
I almost did. I got very excited.
Were you tear jerks?
I was crying for a different reason because Brett stepped on my foot.
I was happy.
That was another so, that was the reason why I was
You
crying.
stepped on Brett's
on his
Lego.
foot.
So I was crying for a different. No,
That's-
look, I thought it was a great moment. I thought it was a great moment, and
I jumped up out of my seat. Like, you can ask my parents. I was watching the pay-per-view with them, and as soon as his music hit, I was like, oh.
I just feel so bad for Sammy.
Not gonna lie, I was
I
expecting Cody Rhodes.
too.
I thought it was Cody at first.
Well, see, the
Really?
thing with Sammy is they're gonna just lean more into the justice for Sammy. You know that's gonna happen. So
That's what it is.
Okay,
I
but
do
I have to ask.
He's
maybe,
the new
but
one that
it
keeps
gives
getting
him something
screwed
to
up.
whine about on Friday.
Well,
Mhm.
but here's the thing, though. Now, and this is something TJ and Wayne and Alyssa, I know you guys all been watching for a long time, and the one thing I don't like what they're doing with Sammy right now. I think it's great. The one thing I don't like about it, this right before he did all the stuff with the bloodline, he was doing the conspiracy thing then.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like, okay, I guess we're playing the greatest hits. You know what I mean? Like we're going right back to
Yeah,
what
we're
was
going
working.
to,
Yeah.
you know, what he
But I
was
feel like
used
Sami
for.
Zayn is doing a better job at it this time around.
Oh yeah.
He is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different outlook.
It's
I-
2.0.
I have a question for
Exactly.
you guys. Who's next for Roman?
Who's next for Roman?
Who's next for Roman? Like I have my own guesses, but I want to hear what you guys have.
I mean, I automatically want to give the answer of Alba.
You don't do that now.
I
No,
know,
you can't,
I
no.
know they're gonna do it at
Can't.
WrestleMania,
Yes.
but they
Yeah,
did
they
hint
gotta
at
build
it.
that up.
They did hint
They
at it in the
could.
SummerSlam Post show that King Alba still has a decision to make. So,
Well, he could give up his title thing so he could go against Brock Lesnar. So,
But in a way, I feel like they can come back to that in a lot of sense. Like he never truly acknowledged what champion he wants to challenge for. So they
true.
could potentially go into that. But I don't want to see Oba versus Roman right away.
But
Look,
Not
here's where
there's a
here's
lot
where
of stories.
here's where they get
Mm.
stupid. And this is where they get stupid. Sometimes they go a little hot shot because we're sitting here looking at things from a logical standpoint, and they're saying you want to say this for WrestleMania. You can always, if they say he doesn't get his title shot, he can always win the Royal Rumble, and then do it for WrestleMania. Makes
Yeah.
sense. But what hurts this conversation is the fact that they do these, Clash in Paris type of shows or something like that, and they always want to have a huge match for that. and I'm afraid that they're going to gunshot that match to help to an overseas big main event. Like how many times did we see them do that before? And it's like when LA Knight first was really coming on, he was really getting hot. They put him with Roman, and they had Roman beat him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you just shot yourself into play. Now they're going to have to beat him up later down the road instead of just keeping him hot and let it build to Roman. But because they had an overseas show, like in Italy or something like that, they felt like they were required to put him in there. So I'm just very intrigued. I wish they would have did it where Kevin Owens had a choice, because you can still always go back to him and Roman instead of now having Owens and Punk.
What are you talking about, dude? Owens Punk, that match.
Oh, it's gonna be
great.
I can't wait for it too.
Yeah,
that match is sold for me already. I don't know what you're talking about right there. Dude.
I'm excited for that. But Randy, I gotta tell you something here. Like, let's think back to 1994 for a second, okay?
Oh, it's like yesterday.
Right?
Oh, it was
it did feel like yesterday. But like, did Bret Hart always have that feud ongoing? Like, they had the long slow burn build with Bret Hart and Owen Hart, but you had Bret Hart getting different opponents. He was the main eventer, and then you had some low card and mid card just randomly on the Monday night fighting Bret Hart, non-title or title. Bret Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid, Kwang, Hakushi, you name it. And it just gives something for the WWE champion to do in between figuring out the next big feud, which is what they should have been doing with Liv Morgan all along. While they're trying to figure out Liv Morgan's big match, okay, let's throw it in. Have an NXT call-up, wrestle Liv Morgan on a Monday night. Have Liv Morgan go against one of like the newer people on Raw. Just get the match and get the reps in, just so we're not letting stuff go stale. But but getting back to, Finn, Sammy, and KO and Gunther. So that's why I have it tagged down there, Finn versus Sammy, or so we thought, because that is what we thought was going to happen. And we mentioned it earlier, but that popped the crowd with Gunther and Kevin Owen inserted in the match. That was a nice little surprise. I loved it.
Gunther out.
The way
I'll
say it like
shaking
this,
Nick Aldis's hand too. That was
great. That acknowledgement was phenomenal.
Thing that I appreciate about out there tonight.
The one thing I will say during the match is like Kevin is very effective with protecting the neck as well as selling the neck as much as possible.
I noticed that
to help resonate with fans. Like, so the way I looked at it is like, look, from a wrestling standpoint, for newer fans or older fans, you're helping build the story of, okay, why is he selling his neck? And that's what commentary is good for too, is that they're going to keep reiterating the fact that he's just coming back off of a neck injury. What was the first thing they talked about during his entrance? His surgery. They talked about the surgery. And then during the match, you see him holding the neck, selling the neck, doing as much as possible to show you that there still is wear and tear there. But it's not going to stop
even Sammy was
fight
selling
Owens
it.
Fight.
Yep. Sammy sold it, and one thing
that he looked concerned about Kevin Owens before, when the ref was like, stay away, and Sammy had this look on his face like, oh my God, are you okay? And then he's like, oh wait, you're my opponent even though you're my friend. Like, I have to still match.
Well, I love the hug in the beginning between Sammy and Kevin too.
Yeah.
Like, to me was like, that was like the best part.
That was genuine. I liked how they did this with Kevin Owens selling the neck. I will tell you this. We obviously know that Kevin came off a legit injury, surgery, and it's, and we obviously know he's selling his kayfabe and what have you. But there's a geographic out there that is going to totally buy into the fact that, is Kevin okay? Like, what's going on? Like Kevin, this story that they were telling literally would take the younger crowd on for a roller coaster ride, kind of like back when I was young. You had Shawn Michaels, who got beat up in Syracuse, and then he got knocked out, and then he lost consciousness in the ring. I was generally, as a fan, upset because I was invested in Shawn Michaels. I was invested into the story, and they took me for a roller coaster ride. So that being said, you got the younger generation that are going to go on a roller coaster ride with tonight's storytelling. We obviously know that they're just incorporated into the story. It was good stuff. I liked how they did that.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree. I like it.
I used to cry in front of the TV when I was younger watching wrestling. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not ashamed to admit.
Wayne, it wouldn't surprise me if I'm being honest.
And then when Cody won, beat Roman at WrestleMania 40.
That was a good moment. That's a really good moment. You know, another good moment that we saw tonight? Chad Gable winning the Intercontinental Championship in front of his hometown crowd. The new IC champion. I love it. I've been wanting to see that for years. I'm glad I was able to watch it and just watch a battle for it between him and Penta. Just absolutely amazing.
And even
I think this goes on one of I think this goes down as one of I would say one of the great intercontinental title matches on a SummerSlam platform for sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with
It's
that.
up there.
Randy, I want to hear what you think about this one because I know you're a big AEW fan in Penta. I wanted to hear what you thought about Penta's presentation tonight, the in-ring work with Gable.
Listen, I've watched the Lucha Brothers. I was new to them when AEW started, and I got to watch some of their old TNA work, and I researched them a little bit, and I became a huge fan of them while they were in AEW. And when I heard they were coming to WWE, I was very interested to see how they were going to make this work because of the fact that they're brothers and they're a tag team, and Penta was coming in first. And I said to myself, man, if they're going to be able to, Penta was going to be a star just because of the hand gesture, the mask, because they all love the mask stuff and everything. And I said to myself, wow, so they're going to put Rey Fenix on SmackDown, and he's probably going to get a similar push. And Rey Fenix is, his face has been on a milk carton for the last 3.5 months. Like the way Penta has done since he's arrived here in WWE has been great. I think they've booked him very, very well. I was a little surprised with the stat they put on the screen that he's had 10 successful title matches, whereas I thought, because it felt like a lot more.
That's what I thought too, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot more, but it's been really, really fun to watch him, and he's another one now that he's lost the Intercontinental Championship. Where does he go? Because he's not going to go into that world title picture. And so I think the next move he goes to is probably going to reunite with his brother and tag team championship.
That I see with AAA.
The tag team division needs building up. It's got to be reunited on the main roster for sure.
So let me ask you a very valid question too. And it's not fair because Andrade had already left when this AAA deal went down. But now that Penta is lost the Intercontinental Championship to Chad Gable, and we're talking about Rey Fenix too, like TJ just said, there's a good possibility you put the Lucha Brothers out in AAA, and you may not see them as often on Raw and SmackDown. But funny thing, you want to talk about the popularity of Penta and how they book him and how amazing he's been. When I was coming home from Saturday night's main event from Madison Square Garden, I was on the train, and I saw a bunch of kids sitting in one of the train cars. 3 of them got their mother to spend the $80-something on Penta masks. They're all wearing Penta masks, and they're all walking around doing the hand gesture. My first thought was, don't say that to the wrong person. Second of all, that's the marketing at WWE. People always say, sometimes the AEW doesn't know how to use certain guys, but WWE is able to book characters a lot more better than they are able to do wrestlers. Look how long it took them to give Chad Gable this opportunity.
Yeah.
Championship.
You know what it was? He cracked the ceiling. he cracked the ceiling in AAA finally. WWE Triple H finally saw something that they could not ignore any longer when Gable had that match with Ludwig Kaiser's Grande versus OG Grande, and that whole
That was a
presentation,
great
everything based on what they
Agreed.
did, yeah, that really elevated. And El Grande is gonna beat Dominic for the Mega Championship at Triple Mania. That's happening. Alyssa, can you see that happening? By the way, I feel like Ludwig's gonna get his shine, and I feel like Gable is gonna have a run with the IC and then maybe world title.
It would be nice to see that. Really, I think that could be a possibility. I haven't watched too much of the like AAA stuff, unfortunately, and I wish I have, because I've watched like the replays of the matches, like the El Grande Americana versus the OG, and that was really good. So I need to get more behind that stuff.
Undertaker does a great job of booking that. He really,
I agree. Doing phenomenal.
Does.
Yeah, I think
that's what I heard. I actually watch it.
Out of the three
Because
rosters, I think Undertaker's
really
doing the best of the three.
He's
Yeah.
fresh. That's what I'm saying. He's not like he's very fresh in there, and I'll be honest, he's going like balls to the wall with it. See what sticks. And
Nice.
the like El Grande versus El Grande match, the El Grande Americano matches, that was phenomenal. That was honestly a best match of the year, if not match of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have to say that's the match of the year across any promotion.
Yeah.
So
Am I
let me
as
ask
far
you.
as saying that.
Let me ask the three of you guys a question for a show like SummerSlam and like WrestleMania. To you, what's the most important? Is it the wrestling or the entertainment value? Because I sat through a 4.5 hour pay-per-view in Queens for Double or Nothing, and I loved every second of it. But watching that show live, I still saw the flaws of it being a 4.5 hour pure wrestling show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I saw what those flaws were. It was still one of the greatest shows I've ever seen live. But I watched a show like tonight, and like we were saying earlier before the show, this show badly needed one of those little comedy backstage segments.
Yeah, too many ads. It's
Too many
just
ads. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
not enough backstage content. I'm like we were talking about. I missed that stuff, like the Ron Simmons stuff, even the goofy stuff. R-Truth do backstage or all this. It needed something, and even my best friend was texting me. He's like, "There's too many ads."
well,
He's
I
like, they're
text.
cutting matches short. There's not enough of
I didn't have a problem with the match time tonight per se, but yeah,
Not
listen
tonight,
to your
no,
point.
but in the
There's the ads. There's so much time that they can use in a backstage segment,
Mhm.
an interview.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do. The ads are taking up the time.
too.
You just said it perfectly, Wayne.
You
It's
know?
even having the backstage interview. Coming up next, we're gonna have Dominic Mysterio versus Dan Hausen. We're here with Dominic Mysterio. Just give us something a little something like that. I texted TJ and Rahit about the Danhausen match. I'm like, that's sports entertainment at its finest, right there.
I agree.
That was having El Torito acknowledging that El Torito was one of the little.
Yeah, I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did.
God, I'm sitting there
Yeah, it was
watching
great.
that. And wait, we were talking. For those who are watching the show, we were all on a text chain with each other. And on Monday night, when they had this thing with Dom and Joe Hendry singing that song, and then Dom and JD, I felt like I threw up in my mouth a little bit, and I said, I can't believe I'm watching this on Monday Night Raw. Wayne is sitting there saying, this song is ringing in my head and I'm sitting there saying, Wayne, that was not a good segment.
I believe that you are.
Chris.
I believe that you are cursed.
I will be glad to take a Will Ospreay 5-star match over Dan Hausen and Joe Hendry singing a song. Thank you very much.
Oh, come
Listen,
on.
Hey, Dan
it-
Hausen's
it-
doing
it-
what he's doing best, man. He's
It
making
wasn't
money. He's
great.
making
It was
human
just
money.
one of those things, looking at a car crash. It's just looking at it's so bad, but you can't look away.
Thank you. I'm glad you're acknowledging
Listen,
that.
I still
I
have
found myself. I was
also on
basically
my-
rubbernecking on Raw.
Now, The best reaction I saw to that whole thing was Jonathan Coachman on X. And one of his videos came up was him just sitting there with this look on his face because he titled it. He's like, just watched the Dan Hausen Joe Hendry thing, and his face was.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. That was the best segment I've ever seen on Raw. The best it's ever seen. That's the best segment out of all this year. That's winning segment of the
Hogan
year.
Rocket was not okay. Hogan
Segment
Rocket
of the year on Monday Night Raw. 8-1. That's my pick. I believe that You Are Cursed is number one segment of the year. I don't know what you're talking about.
Rick Rock and Mick Foley are sitting there saying we desperately need it. This is our life segment right now. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Dan Hausen's life, and he's making the human monies by
It's
it.
certainly
every
is.
day.
Let
He's
ask
got all
you
the
this:
monies.
Would
So
you
all of
take the Katie Vick segment, or would you take the Dan Hausen Joe Hendry concert?
I'd
I'll take Joe
rather
Hendry.
watch Kate try than watch either one of them.
I'll take Joe Hendry. I'll take
I'll
Dan
take Joe Hendry
Hausen
too.
because You Are Cursed. Because
I'll
I
take-
believe.
Oh,
How's
my
the day?
I'll take Vince McMahon versus God over any of this stuff. Okay.
But I want to circle back real quick to you guys talking about the ads. Look, they got to pay the bills at the end of the day. You got to pay the bills. If you look at a lot of the segments and you look at a lot of the matches, look what they're tailoring to the shots, the ads. Like think about last year's main event for Saturday night for WrestleMania Saturday night. The last image you see is Seth Rollins pinning his opponent, and what do I see right next to him? An ad right there. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's paying the bills. And I'm yelling out at WrestleMania, that's how you got to pay the bills. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's such good shit. That's how you pay the bills.
I'm sitting there saying I didn't know if I was watching wrestling or a continuously ad for like everything, like Prime and all this other crap and all this everything else like that, man.
But that's what it is, and that's the canvas. Like you look at UFC, every part of that canvas is covered. Why? Because like they roll around that mat, and guess what? You never know where your ad's gonna pop up on that. Great.
What do you guys?
They have to pay the bills.
Prefer? What do you guys prefer? And I already know the answer to this question, so I don't even know why I'm asking it. But do you prefer the PLEs on ESPN or on Peacock?
ESPN.
I don't watch on either.
I preferred when they were on Peacock because I had that I pay extra for ESPN because I don't watch any other sports. So
If you use a NordVPN,
You gotta watch 30 for 30. You gotta watch 'em.
I'm gonna sound like Sean Ross Sapp here. If you use NordVPN, just $2 a month, you can switch your VPN to another country and then log into Netflix and have all your WWE content right then and there in one streaming platform. And it gets better. You can also have access to my AEW for $7.99 a month, $20 a month if you want pay-per-views. NordVPN, $2 per month. You can have access to everything
I'm very-
in one place on Netflix.
His name is
I'm
Wayne
very
Rivera,
confused.
and he now has lost all of his content from this thing because people now know that you're stealing everything.
I'm
It's
very
all-
confused. Was that an ad read? Was that an ad?
What?
canceled.
Was that an ad? I'm very confused here.
Canceled.
That's,
On
no,
a
but
quick
I
other note,
love the
don't forget-
NordVPN.
Was that another
the
cheap
NordVPN
plug?
puts
I'm very
everything
confused.
in one.
Shameless plugging.
No,
Yeah,
TJ.
I
And by the
love
way,
Netflix.
and by the way, don't forget to get your Aftermath t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com right now. Okay?
At this point, go to nogginboss.com, grab your noggin, add TJ Albin 1. If I'm going to plug it, can you put my name tag back up? TJ Albin 1, put my name tag back up. It's right here. Right here.
I got
Make
something
it
better.
It's in the corner.
by the way,
I want my
Noggin?
ad TJ Albin 1. I want my name play back up.
BSP
Add TJ Albin
Wrestling.
1.
What is it? Noggin,
BS.
BALLZ?
N-O.
BSP Wrestling is going to be having a Pro Wrestling Tee store. We're going to have the official Alyssa shirts that says "Girls Like Wrestling Too," with Alyssa's logo.
Hey, I have
on
my
the back.
Tiffy Time shirt on.
I
wanted
can't.
to.
Don't plug
Oh,
WWE
we
stuff.
gotta-
You
we
can't
gotta
do
talk
that. You
about
can't do that. You got to
Yeah,
plug
I
the stuff.
talked about the new women's
They make the
champion.
monies.
Before I hop off, because I do have to hop off here, but let's talk about the
Nope.
women's
Not allowed.
ladder match. The women's
Yes.
ladder match.
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt they got that one right.
Chelsea Green.
The amount of disdain
Finally.
I have for Jade Cargill because of how bad she is in the ring is
Oh,
an
I can't
understatement.
stand her.
So that I feel like they got
Sure.
it right. I feel like they the right person won because Chelsea Green is so over, and it's so bad. And like, you want to talk about buyer's remorse? They felt that like there was a reason why Tony Khan was like, "Oh, I am so sad to see you go." Bye. Like, there's a reason why it's been that bad. And look,
And then to see the baddies come out, I was like, get off my TV.
I felt bad
Yeah,
for Charlotte
same.
Flair. I really felt bad for Charlotte Flair because you had, but Chelsea Green is good. Like she's a very good talent. She's good in the ring. Everything she's been very very good. But
And
I
it's
think
not like
I'm gonna say this, and then I gotta go. Chelsea Green as women's champion, phenomenal pull. Phenomenal pull, phenomenal run. I think
guys,
she's
I
had a
have to
great
hop
run.
off. I'm sorry.
Bye.
Wayne, thanks for having me. Alyssa, you're awesome. TJ, like the hat. See you on Wednesday night at the cut.
I'll see you on Wednesday. The cut.
Yeah, Wayne, thanks for having me on, buddy.
Thank you so much for hopping on, Randy.
Wayne, I'm going to end with this. Chelsea Green's run is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be legendary. And then if we ever see her between Rhea Ripley, it's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be a good match. And then her with that title run, I think is just going to be very fun and entertaining. And it's something that we need to add. More Chelsea Green on TV is not a bad thing. And I'm going to leave it at that because my time is up. But listen, I will let you both go. I will see you all. Make sure you follow me at TJAlbin1. If you don't, here, do yourself a favor. Take a screenshot of that. Take a screenshot. You know, got to get the cheap plugs in. Wayne, thank you for having me. Alyssa, always good to see you. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Actually, this is our first time actually seeing each other on camera, huh?
Yes, it is actually. Yeah.
This is a very.
Like I said, I'm usually behind the scenes.
You're usually behind the scenes, or I'm blowing up your phone with the ad
true.
Collaborations. That's
true.
That's another story for another day. But you guys,
Yes.
Thank you for having me. SummerSlam was great overall, great pay-per-view. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you guys soon.
See ya.
We are going to start to come in for landing. We're going to come in for landing shortly. So we had a great title, Chelsea Green. Even I put in the chat before, like, my heart wants Chelsea Green, but
yes,
Charlotte Flair very could win. There's one little thing I wanted to mention. Did you notice Charlotte's ring gear?
Yes, she had.
You know the story behind it.
Scarlett. I literally said it when she came out to my parents because my dad was like, "What is she wearing?" And I was like, "The designs from this little girl that she knew, Scarlett, who just recently passed away," which was so sad to see. But yeah, I thought it was really cute that she came out in the ring gear. I thought that was
Scarlett's
great.
family was there.
Yeah, they're very close. I mean, the whole WWE universe when she passed away, all said how great it was having little Scarlett around and the family and all that. And I thought it was great that Charlotte went out there honoring her still. Even after,
Charlotte became very, very close with that family. The girl, like I just love that. That's why, like, when I heard that story, I'm like, I want to dislike Charlotte Flair so much, just for like being shoved down our throat for many years. But then after seeing stuff like this, I'm like, how could I like not? How could I dislike Charlotte now?
They've really like let her, I feel like, be more herself rather than what was always expected of her because she's Ric Flair's daughter. So they're kind of like letting her, even like her hair came out today more like, Alexa Bliss instead of, the typical Charlotte Flair in the, her big robes. This time it was to honor somebody else instead of just being like, hey, look at me, I'm the queen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I loved every bit of what Charlotte's been doing lately and her ring gear and all that stuff. There was a GoFundMe for Scarlett, that even I retweeted out on our podcast just to get the awareness out there to just help out the family, But
I saw
we have
donated.
Oh yeah, go on. Yeah.
Looking at like I think like Bailey, Alexa, like all of them. There was like a whole list of WWE superstars that donated to it, and I thought that was really great to see that they all, felt like Scarlett and their family wound up being kind of part of the WWE family. So they were there for them when she passed.
Yeah, no, I saw that. So that was a nice little tribute. Basically regarding the women's match, I mean, great match, Charlotte. Chelsea Green, good for her. We'll see how long. I honestly think that you can look at this as like a test run to see how she does here
Yeah,
because it is interim. Rhea
that's what I was
should be
saying before.
back.
Like they're saying it's like she's gone indefinitely, but then I was reading something that said like she's not going to be gone too much longer. So I don't
That's what
know.
I've been hearing. Yeah. Maybe we get Rhea by Money in the Bank. Possibly. And how long do you think Chelsea Green keeps this title? Is another thing too. Like, is Chelsea Green gonna be the one
Yeah.
to face Rhea Ripley when they merge that belt
Yeah.
back?
How's that? Rhea comes back.
Yeah, I think. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but Jade Cargill is probably gonna try to take that belt just to set up a match when Rhea's ready to come back.
She needs to
Maybe
go.
she
I can't
does
say
need to go. My
she's
last
not impressive at all.
Yeah. Yeah, don't like it. She's definitely not a fan favorite of the Aftermath Pro Wrestling podcast for sure.
Yeah,
Regardless of
no.
who we have on here, nobody really likes. But anyway, I
I'm
digress.
somebody who's really a fan. Even I would prefer. What was it? Was it you who were saying like even Lash Legend would have been better
Yes.
than Jade? Yeah. So like I don't follow her too much, but even I think she'd probably be better than Jade. Like putting her in the run for things like Jade just gotta go.
This is the question that I ask everybody, especially after a pay-per-view and after Raw. What's next? Where do we go from here?
The big question.
Randy brought it up before. What do we do with Roman Reigns next? Where
Yeah,
where
like
does
where
CM Punk go next?
well CM Punk, like even though he's done with Cody, like because Randy came back, like you're gonna have the Cody Randy thing first because Cody's
Yeah.
gonna want payback, but Randy still wants that title. So eventually he's probably gonna go for Punk. So you probably have that somewhere in the near future where Randy's
Mhm.
gonna make sure everybody knows that, he's still there, he's still relevant, he still wants number 15. So there's that. Roman, I'm not really sure where they go with him. He's kind of, completed his story with Cody, so it's not like Cody's gonna go back and try to go for Roman again. I don't think after, I think Randy said what, LA Knight, maybe.
I think you go LA Knight next because LA Knight just beat the Bloodline on
Yeah.
SummerSlam last night, and then LA Knight might come out, but like now that I just beat the Bloodline and put them behind me, um, I'm gonna I want to go for Roman Reigns, but then this is probably where they could finally introduce Zilla Fatu because we've been waiting for that, so that
Mm,
could be yet another distraction for LA Knight. Um,
yeah.
but I can't really think like of what they have up their sleeve right now for Roman.
Yeah, unless somebody else that hasn't been around for a while makes a comeback. Like I
And
don't
as
really
I
know where
said
he
before, like you
goes.
don't have to have an exact plan for Roman for next pay per view, the pay per view after that. You can
Right.
have a plan for Roman drawn up for maybe Survivor Series, but let Roman
Mm.
wrestle, a couple matches just to kind of, be there on TV. The fans want to see
Yeah, he
him.
could
Maybe
lead
help
the
elevate some
bloodline.
younger talent
Yeah.
and lead the
He'll be
bloodline.
there when like the Usos go out there and do their thing, and he'll send Jacob after people, I'm sure, but it's like there may not be anything directly for him other than whoever wants to. At this point, he's gonna go back to like, okay, I have the belt. Who's next? Who wants to come for me? And then kind of just open it up to anybody in the locker room.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I guess he could kind of do is just come out, on Raw and be like, all right, I've beaten Seth, I've beaten Cody, who else wants to come at me? Like, what do you got for me?
Yeah, and for all
And
we know,
then,
we could get a crossover. We could get a crossover from SmackDown or so they could do that.
yeah, like I said, to pick up the roster a little bit and move some people around and give them opportunities on the other shows and see how it goes.
I wanted to ask you this. This question might be a little bit more on the spot for you, but that's okay if you don't have an idea off the top of your head. But who shows up on Raw tomorrow night? Who are the call-ups this week? Do you think we get a Tatum Paxley? Do you think we get a Lola Vice?
I'm kind of hoping we get a Tatum Paxley. I haven't watched too much of her, but from what I have seen, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping she's like the next one they call up. Because like I've been watching like some of the other call-ups, like Fatal Influence, for, like, last night on, like, I don't like them. I'm not a fan. I don't think they're great. I don't think they were ready to be called up. They have belts already. I like, was it JC Jane? But the other
JC Michaels.
Yeah, I'm not really fans of the other two that became tag team champions already. I think they all could have used a little bit more work. But I would like to see like Paxley come up and maybe, I don't know who else. But
yeah, I think Lola Vice is due. But I can't foresee them pulling too much from NXT right now.
Yeah.
Just due to the fact that the main roster kind of pulled a lot from NXT earlier this year with, Ricky Saints and Alba. They pulled a lot. But I feel like if I had to choose one, it's probably going to be Tatum because that's the name that's been floating around the most. But then behind that, it's definitely Lola Vice.
They come up and then go against. Who do they go after first?
I think you would pair up Tatum Paxley with Paige because, basically, Tatum Paxley is a much younger version of Paige, and they're very much alike. I think you could pair them together,
and especially now with the betrayal. Yeah, but Brie Bella is actually injured, so
I know. I heard. We don't know the severity of it yet, but yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, no, yeah, unfortunately, injury match, but
so bad. Nikki comes back from injury now. Brie's hurt. I mean, listen, they're not spring chickens anymore. But I would if Brie is able to perform and be around, I would think that you could also go the route with the returning AJ Lee to team up with Paige because of their history.
That's the chatter on like X. Everybody was like posting about it, and they're like, "Oh, you got to make that call. You got to call AJ, and have that reunion of Paige and AJ Lee." But I mean, now it's like if Brie is injured, you're just gonna have the one-on-one between Paige and Nikki Bella, because technically Brie just stood there and let Nikki. It's not like they both attacked her. Granted, Brie didn't stop Nikki, but she also didn't attack her. So it really was just Nikki being like, "Who do you think you were, trying to replace me?" And it was never like that.
That's true. You could turn this into a one-on-one. It doesn't have to necessarily be tag team.
So I think at this point, if Brie is injured severely and has to be out, that they're just going to keep it one-on-one because they don't need to add to it.
Yeah.
Have their little feud or whatever until Brie comes back. And then if you need to turn it into a tag team situation where somebody comes to Paige's aid if the Bellas are, beating her up, then you could have like AJ Lee or Tatum Paxley like come in and help out Paige. So that's a possibility.
Sounds good. Any final thoughts about SummerSlam weekend that you would like to get out before we go off the air?
I thought overall it was pretty good. Like we said, with the ads were too many, but the matches overall, I think both nights were pretty good. They were pretty solid. There wasn't a lot of like botches or like noticeable mess ups, except like Brie got hurt. Triple H said the first night that was like the only major thing that happened, but everything else was pretty good. I do think Chad Gable's match was one of the best matches. Roman and Seth was definitely really good. Even Cody and Punk wasn't bad. Like that was a good match. I kind of still wanted to see a little bit more out of them. They did beat each other up pretty good, but I kind of expected it to be a little bit more brutal considering their past with each other and the drive to want to beat the other one. Wasn't a lot of blood. Would have been like the Hell in a Cell or whatever should have been more. The
cage wasn't really used as a weapon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it was. I mean, they used the ring as a weapon, like the cage itself. So it's kind of like, what was the point of even having it there if you guys weren't even going to like really use it?
Yeah.
But I mean, that was still a really good match too. So I think overall everything just worked out really well. It was a very good card for both nights.
Yeah. Very, very good show. To your point, the match time was very, very good. There was definitely a lot of ad time for sure that they could have used, to put towards, how we've always traditionally watched wrestling, backstage segments and vignettes and stuff like that. But tomorrow night we're in for a pretty good Raw. We have Big Cass who's going to show up on Monday night. As his vignette has been advertising for 8-3, and maybe we get Enzo as a surprise there. But yeah, to those of you guys that are watching, we are gonna be back with AEW talk later this week, because the next really big show is All In London, and I'm excited about the stories they've been telling over there. But Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and also to the Back Sports Page crew for helping us out all along through these last couple of years, and seeing that our cog of the podcast is constantly moving forward. And so we definitely appreciate them coming on. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And for those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. We will be back Tuesday night for Raw Talk. We will be back Thursday night. And as we begin to start wrapping up the rest of the summer season, for those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. Listen, thank you so much for coming on, and we will be back with you in just a couple of days. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Agility from the champion. Team 6! That could be it. Delivers this